Thanks so much for checking out this overview of authentic intellectual work, or AIW. I'm Bruce King. I direct the AIW Institute at YSEPS, and I'm a faculty member in the Department of Educational Leadership and Policy Analysis at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I've been a colleague of Fred Newman and a researcher on studies out of Wisconsin since the 90s that looked at the extent of authentic intellectual work and its impact on student learning, and also a member of the advisory group to 2 studies in Australia that replicated our work. It's been a great privilege for both me and my colleagues at the Institute to partner with a number of schools and districts, as well as the Iowa State Department of Education, to help build teacher capacity for the benefit of all students through AIW professional learning and coaching. I wanted to start today with this quote from one of the most important democratic school reformers over the last few decades. Debbie Meyer wrote, "Much of what passes for authentic curriculum and authentic assessment seems to miss the point by giving in to the search for entertainment and avoidance of boredom rather than in pursuit of clear purposes and powerful learning." I don't think this is the vision that Meyer had in mind, but it is a pretty dominant trend these days. So how is powerful student learning best defined? Basic knowledge and skills are, of course, essential, but the new basics should include authentic intellectual work. What is authentic intellectual work? We define AIW through 3 criteria. Construction of knowledge involves organizing, interpreting, evaluating, or synthesizing prior knowledge to solve unique or novel problems. Students use higher-order thinking or critical thinking rather than simply recalling or memorizing established knowledge. Authentic intellectual accomplishments require the construction of knowledge be guided by disciplined inquiry. By this we mean that students, 1, use a prior knowledge base, often grounded in an academic or applied discipline. 2, strive for in-depth understanding of concepts, big ideas, or problems rather than superficial awareness. And 3, they develop and express that understanding through elaborated forms of communication. And finally, meaningful intellectual accomplishments have utilitarian, aesthetic, or personal value. The key here is to involve students in learning activity, regardless of whether it conforms to familiar notions of relevance, student interest, or personalization, that presents an intellectual challenge that, when successfully met, has meaning to students beyond complying with the usual requirements of schooling. Most instructional approaches reinforce and reproduce social inequalities and privilege. But when instruction and assessments meet these 3 criteria, student learning improves. In over 20 years of research, in hundreds of schools in different communities throughout the United States and abroad, with diverse student populations in grades 3 through 12, and in different subject areas, these studies consistently show achievement advantages to students, regardless of gender, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, or disability status, whose teachers made higher demands for authentic intellectual work. On both conventional standardized tests and more authentic assessments of student achievement, students with teachers who scored high on AIW criteria scored higher than students whose teachers scored low on AIW standards. I encourage you to explore our work more, both on the Institute website and our recently published books with Corwin. Many thanks.